And thank you for joining me today on another Crafty Christmas in July hosted by my good friend Heather. This has been a great series for me because I'm finding that while it's hard to scrapbook in the month of December for all of the stuff that's going on, that it's helping me to do it in the summer. And this is the first time I've ever done this, and I definitely going to do it from here on out every summer. Not every day and not every layout, but I try to incorporate maybe every other layout that I do just to tackle those memories and get them documented. All right, so I'm going to be working on another double page spread, and I'm also going to be working in my daughter's best friend's album. So being that this is a double page spread, I already knew kind of what I wanted to work on. I have this Chatterbox collection that is so classic that actually goes really well with the photos that we took for this event. And it had this, I had this idea of having it framed out with this pattern paper that was pinstripes that you see right here. Now the Chatterbox, if you're not familiar with them, the paper was so thin. I mean, thinner than even copier paper. So anytime that I have those thin papers that I still absolutely love, I don't mind doubling up and wasting a cardstock because I've been scrapbooking for 20 years. I've got so much cardstock in my stash that I will probably never get through it all. So for me to double up and have that, that's okay. Now there is going to be cardstock in the center, and again, I don't mind that it's double the cardstock. It just gives that extra support that is needed. So in this collection, there was this paper that you just saw and that I had to cut out a wreath out of it. It is beautiful. It's this paper right here. I already knew as soon as I saw that paper that I needed to cut out a wreath, and that kind of helped me kind of go, oh, I already know what I'm going to do for this layout, which I love those because this layout came together pretty quickly. Now, I've done this before. Once I have this kind of awkward leftover scrap piece of paper, I don't want to waste any bit of it, and I really love just kind of rotating the paper, creating a ton of layers, all with the same pattern paper. And it just really creates a really cool effect that I like, or layering effect that I like. Now next I have this other little piece. You all know me, if I can think of something to do with it, I will do it. So I thought, you know what, I just bought a We Are Memory frame punch board that I'm still trying to get used to. And I couldn't use it to punch out a frame. Maybe I could, I just don't know how to use it that well yet. But I thought I'm just gonna make my own. So I just cut that paper, and that paper actually was the center of the wreath, and I cut all the funky ends out of it. And then once I had that square, I just gutted out these squares so that way I could then frame the photo. Now I wanted to kind of do a little something more to that frame, so I'm going to take a Simple Stories roller stamp that had some phrases on it, and I'm going to add the word believe in Oh What Fun. So this is, in San Diego, they have a place called a safari park and the San Diego Zoo. And so we went up to the safari park because they were having an event for Christmas time where you could come and visit, and you got to go like behind the scenes. And so I thought it was, it was such a fun experience because you kind of get up close to certain animals, and then you had dinner there, and then you got to meet Santa Claus. All right, so I'm just grabbing some chipboard. Now that chipboard could, kind of reminds me of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And so I'm being very careful with the ones that I am going to choose for this layout because I definitely don't want it to clash with this. Like I said, this collection was very classic and just kind of elegant. So I want to continue that. So I just grabbed one that had like a little garland with lights, and then I'm gonna grab one that's an ornament that says Merry Christmas, and then I'm gonna grab a couple more, and one of them is gonna be the Santa Claus, and it's the most wonderful time of the year. Now as I get that all glued down, I did have to cut the wreath in the middle. Now I don't mind doing this. I have a bunch of post-bound albums. Everybody remember QVC? Okay, I bought those. It was scrapbooking was all the rage at that time. I bought them all up. So I have at least 10, if not more, post-bound albums that I just never used because the one album when I was scrapbooking, I eventually converted that over to a 3-ring binder or album, 3-ring album. And so I have all these brand new albums that are just sitting in my stash. So I am finding, especially now, because like I said, her and her daughter love my scrapbooking. that to give a gift for somebody that loves my work and just take all of the memories that we created while, she was living here is fine by me to then hand that over. So I'm using, while I don't like the style of postbound anymore, she's not going to care because she doesn't scrapbook. Just to have that collection is going to be the most meaningful thing for her, to both of them actually. So I found one that I really liked that fits her daughter's personality, and that's the album I'm going to use. So they're going to be really close together. It's kind of the point that I'm making about postbound albums that are different than 3-ring albums. The layouts go together very closely, so I don't mind that I cut into that wreath. All right, so now the one thing I wish I would have done differently, there was a couple things that I just didn't think about. I grabbed the other striped paper so that way it would frame out the other side. I had not yet removed the branding strip, so when I go, when I went to cut out the U shape of that pinstripe paper, I go, oh my gosh, it's not going to line up because it's the opposite of the page. It was because I had not removed the branding strip. It wasn't until after I already cut it and I put the two papers together, I'm like, oh my gosh, I could have just cut the branding strip off first and then everything would have went together. They're probably not going to even care, but that's all right. Now I'm moving on to the title. And because this paper was so thin, I tried twice to use my Silhouette Cameo. I really wanted the title to be a scriptive font, but this is where sometimes technology is not so great. I had it on the lowest setting that I could possibly go. I tried it twice. I even lowered it though to the very last setting I could go, and it still just shredded the paper. Like I almost lost, what I gutted to frame out the layout. So that's when I just went to my old trusty Quick Cuts dies, grabbed those and ran them through my Big Shot, and then ran them through my Xyron to create a sticker. Now, I had to remove the sticker because they weren't like the word at, because it wasn't where I wanted it. So once I repositioned it, it had a sticky residue because the Xyron sticker is pretty sticky. I am showing you how that eraser that I purchased, I gave it a thumbs up, was perfect because I literally could just take off the residue. Now I have these bows, and I wasn't sure if I wanted it top or on the top and bottom or on the side, so I reached out to my good friend Heather and she said put it on the top and bottom, so that's what I did. Again, I don't mind it's going to be cut in half because it is going to go into a postbound album. Then I'm going to show you up close a couple of things that I added, and I get super excited. I do the happy dance, you know it. Those two stickers that I added to the layout, I used up a whole sticker sheet, which is something to celebrate for sure when you can use something entirely into the stash. All right, everybody, that is my Christmas layout for this week. I want to say thank you so much for joining me. Be sure to check out all of the other lovely ladies below because Heather is doing a giveaway and she's sponsored by the My Little Scrapbook store, so definitely want to make sure you're subscribing to everyone. All right, you all have a wonderful day and I will talk to you soon. Bye.